What is this?
You are in a part of the country that's no longer controlled by the government of the United States.
They mess with the wrong family. I'm gonna fight. Anybody who wants to join is welcome to it. We inherited our freedom. Now it's up to all of us to fight for it.
Attention! Red Dawn is a movie about a group of teenagers turned guerrilla fighters who need to kill as many of the North Koreans as they can. Their reasoning for doing this is because the North Koreans have invaded the United States of America, and a small town in Pennsylvania has awakened to a full-scale, tank-filled ultimate invasion. The protagonists go through a self-training program and start their attack towards the enemy. In my opinion, this movie deserves to be praised for its special effects, but not for its acting.
I'll go play with my potato.
Okay, now we're gonna move on to the heavy stuff. Let's get ready to do a deadlift.
Ready.
And squat.
Squatting.
Grip.
Gripping.
And lift. And hold it. Hold it. Hold it.
Accordingly, many people, including myself, thought that Josh Peck is not fit to be a serious actor. It was a very funny experience to see everyone's favorite sitcom brother trying to pick up a rifle and kill North Korean soldiers. Josh Peck gives off a fun and goofy vibe when acting, not a cold-hearted killer trying to blow up Korean bases. Though the acting wasn't the best of all time, many people agree with my dad, who is a skeptic of this movie, and say that Josh should stick to comedy. My dad says that this is because Josh's scene where he's finally getting over his fear of becoming a guerrilla fighter was, quote, the worst piece of acting in all of history. Josh Peck should certainly stick to acting in comedies and steer clear from action movies. In this newer, more advanced, and yet somehow far worse version of the movie, the original story was changed. In my opinion, this actually helped the movie become less awful because it made the movie more modernized. The change is that the Russians didn't invade the protagonist's homeland this time. It was the North Koreans. This is an actual modern threat, and one that is a nicer aspect of the movie. The North Koreans are actually currently working on destroying our nation by teaming up with Iran to manufacture nuclear bombs. If Russia invaded us today, it wouldn't make any sense. This is a good aspect of the movie that I enjoyed being a part of. There's no real story, just a series of firefights and skirmishes as the rebels progress through the battles and their personal stories that always seem to end ever so happily. There are very many firefights that make the movie extremely repetitive and even more for an action movie, boring. The story of this movie is just a few major bosses and generals to take out, and the ending is less than satisfying. The script that this movie is given had potential and seemed to have been written too quickly. The fact that the Wolverines gain and lose a few characters just makes the movie even more predictable. I didn't care for the story of this movie. In conclusion, as I've said, there's no actual story, except for an invasion, as well as many fatalities and a general to hunt down and kill. I prefer action movies I can actually take a guess at what is going to happen next. I recommend this movie to anyone who wants to throw up their lunch, and I give it 4 bullets out of 10.